Michigan State's Mark D'Antonio honored as the Dave McClain Big Ten Coach of the Year last season, and with good reason. Led the Spartans to a school record 11 wins, share of their first Big Ten title in 20 years. We talked about Denard Robinson's exploits earlier, Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year. If he repeats this year, he'll be the Graham George Offensive Player of the Year, one of the 13 new trophies introduced by the conference. And guys, let's run through some of these trophies here, and I don't necessarily need you to tell me who you think is going to win it. What I want you to give me is someone in the Legends division who you think is going to be in the conversation here. Let's start with the Greasy Breeze Award. This is named after Bob Greasy and Drew Brees, two great Purdue quarterbacks, each of whom led the Boilermakers to a Rose Bowl. Howard, who has a shot from the Legends?
You got to believe Kirk Cousins has a shot. When you look at his ability, what he's done thus far, over 5,800 yards, 41 touchdowns. When you look at the talent that he has surrounding him at the running backs and also wide receiver position, he's going to have a chance this year to put up some huge numbers. On
the watch list for the Davey O'Brien Award as well. As for the guys they'll be throwing it to, this is the Richter Howard Award. Richter is Pat Richter, of course, a great All-American at Wisconsin, led them to a Rose Bowl, was their athletic director as well. And Howard, sadly, is not our Howard.
No. It's close as
Desmond Howard, the former Heisman winner at Michigan. Who are you watching for this one, Coach?
How about Marvin McNutt? He was a second-team Coaches All-Conference player a year ago. 8 touchdown passes in 09 and 10. And we all remember the great play he had on the goal line against Michigan State in 2009. But more important than the stats, I mean, he constantly is coming up with a great play and a great catch. So stats don't always do him justice.
Converted quarterback who has turned into just a go-to guy for the Hawkeyes. Some good DBs covering those guys. They're battling for the Tatum Woodson Award. Tatum is Jack Tatum, legendary, hard-hitting Ohio State defensive back. Woodson is Rod Woodson, 3-time All-Big Ten pick from Purdue. So who do we like here, Howard?
Shaun Prater got to be a guy that's got to be considered here. When you talk about a perfect fit for the cover 2 scheme, this is the corner that you want to have. Has a knack for coming up with big plays, but more than that, Coach, it's about being able to read and react when you're dropping into that cover 2 scheme, and he's shown you that he can pick the ball up, off, and take it the other way.
4 interceptions for him last year. As we move along to the top offensive player, this is the Graham George Award. Graham is Otto Graham, of course, a great Northwestern player who went on to have a phenomenal career in the NFL. And George is Eddie George, Heisman winner at OSU in '95. Who are you watching here, Howard?
Look at Edwin Baker. I think when you look at what Edwin Baker did last year, and I'll take some credit for it. Because I'll tell you why. I motivated him because I said that Le'Veon Bell would be the starting running back, and he really stepped up. Baker did and played tremendous all year long. Has a goal to rush for 2,000 yards. This is how I get into the award show. It's the only way. Take a little credit.
If he runs for 2,000 yards, I think he has an awfully good chance at winning that award this year. And finally, the top defensive player. This is the Nagurski Woodson Award. Nagurski, in this case, of course, Bronco Nagurski, Minnesota player from the 1920s who just had an incredible career. And then Woodson here is Charles Woodson of Michigan, the Heisman winner back in '97. Who do you like, Coach?
How about Levante David? And I take credit for this because it was my idea to invite Nebraska to the Big Ten. Levante David received most every defensive award in the Big 12 a year ago. He was Nebraska's defensive MVP. I'd expect the same thing again this year. He's a tackling machine. He gets a lot of protection from a great defensive line.
I didn't realize that was your idea.
Yeah, well, I don't like, I wasn't going to brag until Howard started bragging.
Well, when Howard starts bragging, yeah, you got to one up.
Not a lot of people know that about Nebraska.
Yeah. Your idea.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, you look at David, the number's phenomenal. 152 tackles. How can that not be a typo? It's real. 152 tackles.